There's a particular kind of afternoon. Nothing is wrong. Nothing is due. You are lying on the sofa doing, by any reasonable measure, nothing at all. And some part of you starts drafting a defence. You didn't sleep well. You've had a big week. You get up in a minute. You rehearse the excuse before anyone has even asked you for one, because some part of you is already certain that someone, somewhere, is quietly docking marks. A few years ago, a phrase went viral for exactly this kind of moment. Let them. Let them think what they want. Let them assume you're lazy. Let them wonder why you haven't replied. Millions of people needed to hear it, which tells you something. But the phrase is not new. It is a repackaging of an idea formerly enslaved Stoic teacher was giving away for free 2,000 years ago. Epictetus split the world in two. Some things are up to you, but most things are not. Your effort, your choices, your attention, yours. Other people's opinions of how you spend your Tuesday afternoon are not yours. They never were. And no matter the amount of managing them, we will make them so. He didn't say this to excuse cruelty or carelessness. He said it because most of our exhausting hours are spent trying to control one thing that was never available to control in the first place: what somebody else thinks of us. Today, I want to point that idea at something specific. Not relationships, not arguments, rest. Because here's what nobody quite says out loud. Doing nothing has to be earned. You are allowed to rest if you're sick, if you're exhausted, if you can prove the deadline is cleared. Rest without a receipt attached looks, even to yourself, indistinguishable from failure. So you don't just rest, you perform having a good reason to rest. You mention the busy week before anyone asks. You post a well-deserved lazy Sunday, which is doing nothing but announced, but somehow makes it acceptable. You reach for the phone, not because you want to, but because an unphotographed, unexplained hour of stillness has started to feel like it needs an alibi. That performance is not free. It is a second job running quietly under the first one. You are not just resting badly. You are resting while simultaneously managing what your rest looks like from the outside, which means you never actually get the rest. Let's be clear about what this isn't, because the idea mangles easily into two directions. It is not permission to do nothing forever and call it wisdom. Let them think what they want is not the slogan for avoiding your responsibilities, coasting on other people's efforts, or dressing up as avoidance as enlightenment. Epictetus worked. He taught, wrote, ran a school. The releasing was aimed at other people's opinions, not at his own standards. And it is not the lone wolf version either, the I don't care what anyone thinks of me swagger. That's really just contempt wearing armour. That's not freedom from other people's opinions. That's still organised entirely around them, just with the volume turned to hostile instead of anxious. Both over-explainer and the too cool to explain are doing the same thing, orbiting a judgment that was never real to begin with. I caught myself doing this on one Sunday afternoon. I had made a coffee, put a book beside me, and settled onto the sofa with no intention of doing anything useful. Within minutes, I was arranging the coffee and the book for a photo. I wrote a caption about finally taking a well-earned break after a demanding week. The week had been ordinary. Nobody had asked where I was or what I was doing. Still, I felt the need to produce evidence that the rest was deserved. I wasn't sharing the afternoon. I was submitting an application for permission to have it. Here's the part that it's easy to miss. The people you're performing for are mostly imaginary. Nobody's running a spreadsheet on your Tuesday afternoon. The disapproving audience you're rehearsing your excuses for is, more often than not, nobody. It is a version of your own judgment, projected outward and mistaken for other people's, which means the energy spent managing it isn't being spent to please anyone real, it's being spent to please a ghost. So what does that actually look like to them? First, catch the rehearsal, the moment you notice yourself preloading a justification for a nap, a slow morning, or an unanswered message. Stop and ask, who's that for? Usually there's no one standing there waiting for the explanation. You built the courtroom and you do not have to attend. Second, practice on small stakes. Don't start with the big one, the career pause, or the year you took to recover from something serious. Start with the Sunday you don't answer messages, or the meeting you skip in favour of a walk instead. Let the silence sit. Notice that the world does not organise a response to it, because it was never watching that closely. Thirdly, separate the doing from the announcing. If you're resting, rest. Don't caption it. Don't pre-explain it. Don't mention the hard week to earn that hour off. The moment you feel the urge to justify it, that's the tell. You've slipped from resting into performance rest, and those cost completely different amounts of energy. The next time I felt the urge to post a quiet afternoon, I left a photo in my camera roll. I didn't explain where I was. I didn't mention how busy I'd been. For the first 20 minutes, the silence felt strangely exposed, as though I had failed to file some necessary paperwork. Then, nothing happened. Nobody questioned me. Nobody revised their opinion of me. By evening, I had forgotten that there was anything to defend. The rest felt different once I stopped narrating it. It felt like mine. None of this is about to become indifferent to people. Epictetus wasn't cold, and neither is this. It's the opposite in a way. You have one more left for people who are real and in this room, because you've stopped spending it on the imagined jury in your head. Let them think you're doing nothing. You know what you're doing, recovering, thinking, existing for an hour without needing it to be legible for anyone else. That was always allowed. It took 2,000 years and one viral phrase for most of us to hear it. Stay a while if it helped. There's more here every week on living quietly in a loud world.